Monika of Fitness Science Incorporated. Welcome to my Fat Blaster circuit. So today we're doing a series of 6 videos. There will be 6 instructional videos and 6 workout videos. So please make sure you watch the instructional videos first so you're familiar with the form and you know exactly how to do these exercises. These are very advanced exercises. Make sure you are not a beginner. Make sure you don't have any injuries before you do these exercises. They're difficult. They require a lot of stabilization. They require a lot of muscular endurance and stamina. They're excellent in toning different muscles and working your core at the same time. They will incorporate as many different muscle groups as possible in each exercise so that you can go through the circuit of only 8, yet work the whole body in that short period of time. And they're designed to be done in sets of 2 or 3, so you basically do 1 circuit if you're a beginner doing these exercises, not the complete beginner. Do 1 circuit, then build up to 2, eventually 3. That should take you probably 20 to 30 minutes altogether. There will be very little rest in between. You're going to rest only 30 seconds between the first, second, and third and fourth exercise. Then 60 to 90 seconds, a little longer rest between the 4th and the 5th, and then another short circuit of 4 following exercises with 30 seconds of rest in between. So not much rest, but you make sure you drink water. You always have the 30 seconds to get some water. It's very easy to get dehydrated. These are very intense exercises. Make sure that you can correctly stabilize, that you're not a complete beginner, that you are able to complete at least a few repetitions of the instructional videos first and do them slowly to make sure you get the form. And if you can, then go ahead and start with the workout itself. So the exercises themselves are done very slowly. It puts more demand on the muscles. You will burn more calories this way. Your muscles will actually get more burn and more tone. But you will be progressing from one exercise to the other, as I just said, very quickly. Okay, so this is the first exercise in our first circuit. This is called a burpee with a split push-up. There are 3 parts to this exercise. It's a pretty demanding exercise, so just make sure you do it slowly, correctly. You don't sink in a push-up. So it starts with a little jump. Then you come down to a full squat position. Extend your legs behind you, then open up the legs to the side and do a push-up. Then come back, legs together, and back to squat and jump up. So I'm just going to demonstrate 2 or 3 repetitions, and I'll do it as slowly as I can. And then you'll get the whole set in the full video. Okay, so the exercise starts with a little jump. Then you come down to a squat position. Put your hands on the mat or on the floor, slightly at an angle, ready for a push-up. You bring your legs behind you. Open the legs out to the side. Then do a push-up from here. Feet together. Come back up. And another jump. All right, so one more time. You're starting with a jump. Ready for a push-up. Extend the legs. Split. Push-up, feet together, jump, and back up. So the exercise that I just showed you, you work a lot of different muscles at the same time. You work your core to stabilize, especially in a push-up. You work your legs, different muscles in your legs. You work your chest, the anterior deltoid, and a little bit of triceps. The next exercise is a combination of a back row, 45-degree row, and a lunge, back lunge, and a hammer curl, which is similar to a bicep curl, except you keep your arm in a sort of a head shake position. So it's going to work your back muscles, your biceps, your glutes, and your legs. And of course your core always, anytime you do the whole body movement, you always have core working. I'm going to split this exercise into 2 parts, and it actually becomes a little bit harder this way because you're going to stay in that lunge position when you do the upper body. So you're going to step back, just make sure there's about a 90-degree angle in your knee and in your hip. Your weight is distributed through the center of the front foot and the back. You come down as low as you can if it's comfortable on your knees. Right here, this is your perfect lunge. From here, you're going to do a row right here with the left arm while you do a hammer curl with the other. So the upper body stays completely stable. You come back, and I come back to balance. If that's too hard for you, just put the feet together. But I will start from balance. That requires a little more stabilization on the right side with my right gluteus medius. And I come back to a lunge again and do the row and then hammer curl at the same time. Okay, one more. Back lunge, row, hammer curl, and come back up. Let me just show it to you on the other side. So you always bring the leg back on the same side as the arm that you're doing the row with, so you don't hit your knee in front with your elbow. So back lunge with your right leg, right row, right hammer curl, come back to balance, leg back, and straight, and come back. So this next exercise is really challenging for your core, for your balance, and works your shoulder muscles. It's basically an overhead press with one arm. And I'm going to do this on a ball. The reason why I said please don't do these exercises if you're a beginner, it can get you injured if you can't stabilize, if your core is not strong enough. Make sure that if you decide to do it, that you are just using one arm, even though it's harder to do it with one arm, but I want you to have the other one free to grab onto something next to you, just in case you need to. Right, so getting on the ball is a little bit tricky. You're gonna put one leg on the ball, then hold on, one hand on the ball as well, and hold on to something next to you. You're gonna stand up here. Your knees shouldn't be too far out, because then it's really hard on the adductors and they have to work really, really hard. So one thing that will help you to maintain that balance, apart of course from using your obliques and all your core muscles, is keeping your feet flexed and your toes against the ball, rather than like this. Okay, this will make you a lot more wobbly. So just make sure the toes are curled in and touching the ball. From here, I'm going to bring, and you can start by holding on to something if you feel safer with it. Now make sure you can just maintain this position. If you can't, and if you can't work with your abs enough so you can even stay on the ball for a little while, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. But once I'm up here, I'm starting in this position to give my deltoid a little bigger range of motion, and then I'm going to turn the dumbbell up as I go, and straight up and down. Now if you notice, my upper body is really not moving. My core is keeping me completely stable. If anything is moving, it's only the ball a little bit, and that's going to be normal because you're trying to balance. Okay, a couple more. And last one. And getting off is a little bit easier. You can just slide back slowly, bring one hand on the ball, and come off. Okay, so this next exercise is for the abdominals. All of them work here. They have to stabilize your position when you extend your body. Make sure, again, and I can't stress it enough, if you have any lower back issues, this is probably not the exercise for you. Actually, for sure, this is not the exercise for you. Make sure your abs are strong enough so that when you extend your legs in front, your lower back is not hurting you. Either, if it does, either you shouldn't be doing it at all, or you should bring your legs a little higher and maybe not extend them all the way. So I am going to start on my back, and very, very slowly. Now I'm actually not lying down on the floor. I'm lifting my upper body slightly, and that's always as low as it's going to go. And from here, I'm going to come up and lift my arms up and hold the legs up, and then go back, extend. But if you notice, my shoulder blades are off the floor, my legs are off the floor, and I'm coming back up, and I'm trying to lift through my spine right here. And then coming back down, holding that position, coming back up. Just, I'm not slouch here. Your abdominals actually work to lift you up. So hold it nicely here, then come back, hold it, come back again, and hold it. And those holds are actually very, very hard. So you will feel the abs even though we're just going to do 12 repetitions. So this is probably one of the toughest exercises for balance, and I'm doing it on purpose on the roll, because you can always use just the floor. If you can't do just a straight, what is called a straight deadlift here, coming up and standing on one leg, then you probably shouldn't be doing it on the wall. So just make sure you can do it on the floor and you're stable enough to keep your hips square without rotating one hip out. you're actually squeezing the glutes on this side also, so that the leg is parallel to the floor, and then we're going to reach down and lift the kettlebell off the floor and come back to the standing position. You're going to feel that your muscles in your feet are burning, or in the foot that you're standing on, as well as the muscles around your ankle. They work a lot, and it's okay if you're shaking, that's normal. And then slowly go ahead and come down, and you're going to pick up the kettlebell. Make sure you engage your core. Come back to balance. Again, if you can't, just put the foot straight down. But if you can, stand right here. And then very slowly, keeping your lower back slightly arched, so it's not rounding the back. Okay, think of extending into a slight arch, and then when you come down, your body should look like a perfect T. Very, very slowly. Remember, the slower, the harder. Coming back, one more time, and then you repeat on the other side. Okay? So when I designed these circuits, I was trying to think about alternating the different muscle groups, and in most cases you will notice that you will have opposing muscle groups working, so that one area can rest, one part of your body can rest while the other is working, so you're not working the same body part in a row. Sometimes we'll do the back and the biceps after, which is fine. It's a smaller muscle, so you can work it right after a bigger muscle, even though the bicep helps a little bit on the back exercises. So this one is just for triceps and of course core. Anytime you do anything on the ball, you're going to use your core. You're going to come down on the ball and slide down so that your head and your upper back is on the ball. Make sure your butt does not drop down, so you lift it up, hold it tight. And a lot of people that I observe in the gym do these exercises on the ball with the legs like this. It completely defeats the purpose, because you can't really use your abdominals effectively. The closer your legs are together, the harder your abs have to work to stabilize. So maybe don't squeeze them together, but just in case your balance is not so great, but keep them just slightly apart. So this is a tricep exercise. We're going to bring your arms both back. I'm sure you've heard of the overhead extension, but I'm going to make it a little bit harder, and you're going to keep one arm down all the time, alternate, and one will stay down all the time, so that the tricep stays lengthened throughout the whole exercise. It's going to be a little bit harder, so you probably want to use a little bit less weight than you normally would on the tricep extension, because the length of it is going to be more like 24 repetitions rather than 12, even though you're going to be doing 12 on each arm. You either want to keep your arms right with your arm perpendicular to your body and your elbow right over your shoulder, or slightly back, but not here, because you're shortening the tricep. It's not working as much as it could in this position where it's a little bit more lengthened. It's a little bit harder. Try not to bring your shoulders up to your ears, so your upper trapezius does not kick in, instead of bringing the shoulders down right here. And just keep your upper arm as stable as you can. All that's moving is your forearm from the elbow, nothing else. All right, so another exercise for the abdominals. This is a side plank. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. I put my one leg in front of the other. If you've never done it before, well, like I said, you shouldn't be doing this circuit, but if you're a beginner or your balance is not so great, you may want to put one leg in front of the other. It's usually easier if you're on the right side, right leg in front. But I'll put one on top of the other, and then I'm going to come up on my elbow. And you want to have your body as straight as possible. Make sure your butt is not sticking out behind you. So squeeze your glutes and do what we call a pelvic tilt slightly, so that your abs are pulled in and your glutes are squeezed. And from here, you're going to come down, just tapping the floor with your hip and trying not to sink in through the shoulder blade. So make sure you lift yourself as high up as you can. As much as this is a core exercise, of course, obliques mostly, your scapula stabilizers work really hard. So I'm going to show you that from behind. So just watch my shoulder blade, and I'll show you the correct form and the one that's not right. So this would be a correct form when just my hip is going down. This would be going down through the scapula and not being able to stabilize correctly. So make sure you can hold this position, and then just the hips are moving. And at the end, you're going to hold it for 10, but I'll get to that when we get to the work. Okay, so the next exercise is a side lunge with a bicep curl, and we're going to alternate lunging with a different leg, alternating legs basically. This works a lot of the inner thigh and glutes if you do it correctly, as well as your core because you're trying to maintain the upright position of your body, and of course your biceps with a bicep curl. So just make sure that you can do a side lunge first. When you come down, you position, your knee should always be aligned with your foot. If you have any knee problems, slight knee problems, and you still want to do it, just make sure it's exactly in a position that's most comfortable on your knee. Okay, so sometimes it's a slight angle. I am okay with this angle. For a lot of people, slightly turned out is a little bit easier. So then you want to come down, but not coming down through here with your upper body, but keeping your upper body straight and using your core. And stick your tush out so that you really feel the stretch in the glutes and the hamstrings of the leg that you're lunging to. And then you come back to center, and then you repeat on the other side. And if you, depending on the flexibility of your adductors and your inner thigh muscle basically, you will be able to go maybe to this position, maybe to this position. But don't force it because these muscles are tight in a lot of people, and they're very easy to get pulled because we don't usually do these kinds of movements very often in real life. Okay, so we're gonna start with a curled bicep like this, and you're going to do a side lunge, come back, then do a bicep curl, and then hold them up, and then go to the other side. And again, bicep curl, hold them up, side, down, curl, side, and then back to bicep curl.